As we welcome you back inside Winsport in Calgary, the penultimate game of Hockey Canada's U17 National Team Development Camp sees Team Red taking on Team Gold. My name's Tyler King. Happy to have you with us with the crew from HN live on hockeycanada.ca. Goaltenders in this one for Team Gold, they'll go to David Igorov. He stopped 40 of 42 shots in their second game of this weekend event. It was a 3-2 win over Team Black. Over at our right side, Landon Miller is between the pipes for Team Red. The Thornhill, Ontario native gave up 5 goals and a 5-1 loss to Team Black that was also Team Red's second of their 4 games. Tell you more about players on both these squads as this one gets underway. And it's Gold early with possession here. Red a takeaway here as Browns through center. Spun that down the dasher. Roberts let that one go. He's going to come back in behind the Team Gold net for Merrick Howell. Out to neutral this one comes, and Justin Carbonneau cuts through center. Banks that one down deep, but he was behind the red line, and that'll draw our first whistle-stopping play. Team Gold had a bit of a tough one to start this event. They lost 12-4 to Team White in their first game of the weekend, but followed that up with a big 3-2 win over Team Black, in which the aforementioned Merrick Howell scored the game-winning goal, and the aforementioned goaltender David Igorov had 40 saves on 42 shots. Then yesterday, their most recent game, a 5-2 win over Team Green, in which the 07-born Michael Miso was the star with 2 goals and an assist in that one. Here at center is Jordan Gavin. He's just 15 years old as well, carrying in and shooting. It's off a stick and up over the end glass and out of play. Gavin wearing number 10 for Gold, won't turn 16 until November the 13th. One of many players from the Delta Hockey Academy's U17 squad that's playing at this event this weekend. He had 105 points in 28 games last year, 48 goals, to lead the league in goals, 57 assists, en route to a league championship as that long point shot's right on, and there was Michael Misa at the side of the net trying to chip it back in front. Finally, Red take it back, and here's Macklin Celebrini driving down the wall. He's been an offensive star in all the games he's played so far, as then from the point was Julian Lanthier, shooting one that's saved and held by goaltender Igorov for a whistle that stops play. Mentioned Macklin Celebrini, number 23 in red. He's got 2 goals and 3 assists in 2 games so far. Last year with Shattuck St. Mary's in the U.S. prep school ranks, he had 117 points in just 52 games. Just under a goal per game average. He had 50 markers in those 52 games. There's a shot from the slot by Poirier, doesn't get through. Another chance from a sharp angle, and that is stopped by goaltender Igorov, who'll hold on for a whistle. The Team Gold goaltender from Manotick, Ontario, just south of Ottawa. In fact, if you're ever driving to the Ottawa airport from the southern portion, say from Highway 401, stop in Manotick on the way through. It's one of the nicer parts of that region for sure. Played for the Ottawa Senators, though. 18 games played in the U18 AAA ranks last year, and David Igorov had a .926 save percentage, which was the best among goaltenders in his league. He won the top goalie award as well. Lucas Carmiras carries in here. There's a pass across that was just out of the reach of Quinn Kennedy. It'll come back to Team Red on a quick clear here, and Merrick Howell taps that one back into Red territory. Now, Ollie Josephson drops that one off, and that was Poirier with a shot that was wide on the short side. Another chance for Red here as it comes to the point. Doyle's shot misses. Comes back down low. Rather, it was Keith Mckinnis getting that shot away from the blue line. It's always the tucked jerseys that become tougher to read as Mckinnis had it poke check free. Kevin He trying to drive down low. Just had it knocked out of his reach by the goaltender there. Kevin He already has 2 goals in this event as well. There's a hit thrown in front of the Red bench. And that allows them to scoop it up as Zane Perek will carry in. Trying to center. Carbonneau gloved that one down, but it ricochets to his own end wall. Marcus Kiersey out of Deer Lake, Newfoundland, gets that out to the center circle. And Mckinnis, the Red Deer native, shoots that one back in. Gloved by goaltender Igorov, and he'll hold on to that one. Mentioned Keith Mckinnis there, number 3 in red, the Red Deer native who played for the Yale Hockey Academy last year in the Canadian Sports School Hockey League. 10 points in 24 games. Signed a tender with Waterloo of the USHL for next season, as here's Terrence Smith with a shot for Red that's wide on the short side. Nathan Aspinall now getting to it. Pushed by Quinn Kennedy, rather by Colton Roberts, I should say there, number 6 in gold. top defenseman in the CSSHL U17 ranks last year with that championship Delta squad. We got a penalty coming up here against Red, or on that last offensive zone possession by them, in fact. That shot ricochets out of play, and we're going to get our first power play in this one. The call is for a slash. See who it was, as there was plenty of furious action down there in Team Gold territory. And into the box goes Raoul Boilard, and instead it's going to be a man advantage for Team Gold, their first power play of this game. No score yet, with both teams trading some high-grade chances here. As Lavoie, a quick keep in there for the Gold power play unit. Gets back to it here, Thomas Lavoie. Dishes off to Justin Carbonneau, fed across, and that wrister tip scores! Not sure who it'll go to. The shot came from the far wall and gets deflected right at the top of the crease and into the back of the net. And it's Team Gold taking the 1-0 advantage. And it was Massey who took that shot from the half boards to deflect possibly off a defender's stick and just inside the right post to give Gold the 1-0 advantage on the power play. And for Massey, that's going to be his third goal of this event. Give him 5 points now in the 4 games. As it's shot in from behind the red once again. Faceoff will come back into Team Red's territory. The first overall pick was Massey of the Saginaw Spirit in the OHL draft after being granted exceptional player status, putting him up on a list with some fairly prominent names. Among them, Connor McDavid, whose OHL Cup scoring record he broke at this year's tournament, where he put up 20 points in 7 games at that annual Challenge Cup. So now it's carried in by Maxim Massey. He'll turn and fire a sharp angle one. Landon Miller was able to knock that one free. Back here now is Spencer Gill, tripped up by the stick of Massey. And Red can get this one out to neutral. Christopher Brown banked that one across to Julien Lampthier. He'll drive his way around Davidson and down behind the net. Drop it off for Gavin Hodnett. He'll turn to the circle with it with some space. His shot does not get through, though, and Jordan Gavin can now take it. Dishes across for Massey. He'll speed through the center circle with it. And it's off an offside carry in there. Looked like Lyndon Lakovic was into the offensive zone just a tad too early. And the faceoff will come just back out to neutral ice. Team Gold on Michael Massey's third goal of this weekend event on the power play, making it a 1-0 game. Massey had 43 points in 27 league games with the Mississauga Senators of the GTHL. They went on to win the OHL Cup this season as Justin Poirier carries his way in. So rather Benjamin Cormier now with it down in the corner. Fed around back of the Gold net. Gold getting this one off the skate of Roberts to neutral, but taken right back by Red. They'll have numbers on this carry-in. But the feedback across split a couple of Red forwards, and it'll be Gold banking it all the way down. Not fast enough, though, was Misa, as Mckinnis got there first, and the icing whistle is blown. Shots on goal are tied 4-4 early in this one, but it's Gold with the early advantage. So we get a look there at Ollie Josephson, 5th overall pick of the Red Deer Rebels in the WHL draft. Played 6 games for them this past season, putting up 1 assist. Was first in both goals and assists in the BC EHL, playing for the South Island Royals. So now for Gold, Lucas Carmeras carries in, dishes that one across. There's a swarm of red jerseys there to poke check it free, but it's going to draw another penalty. And a cross check is what's going to be called here. It was Maddox McCaggerty who drove to the front of the net. He was 1-on-3, maybe even 1-on-4. And they're going to call Jackson Vaughn there on the cross check as he knocked the puck carrier down. And that means Gold, which just converted on a power play very early on, gets to try again here. And Mises out to center the power play unit, wins the draw cleanly to Thomas Lavoie. Now for Carbonneau. Back to Lavoie, shooting through his screen. The save is made, but it's loose at the top of the blue paint. Furious scramble here, and the ref loses sight of it. Or the net was knocked off, it looks like, in fact, and the faceoff's going to come out to the neutral zone. So again, not taking much time at all is the Gold power play unit there. Right off the draw, getting some opportunities from the blue line. The clearance there by Terrence Smith didn't come out, so Gold can keep the pressure on here. Another try by Josephson, got it to the point, but not out. And Gold again, finding Carbonneau in the back door, but it just bounced off his stick, and Justin Carbonneau's got to recollect here. The return pass there was out of his reach, and Spencer Gill, first man on it for Red. Bank to the point now, and Thomas Lavoie surveys. Shoots a long one, good sprawling left pad save, and the rebound denying Jordan Gavin as well. Landon Miller's been awfully busy down in that Team Red crease. Now 7 saves on 8 shots for him here. We're not even 6 minutes in. Another carry in for Carbonneau. Dishes one across, and there's Gavin. Dropping it back, and the wrister goes wide. The rebound poked free by Massey. Scores! Another power play goal for Team Gold. And it's number 22, Maxim Massey, who gets to it, knocking it home for his second in as many games. 2 for 2 on the power play here. And the 6'5" forward out of Rimouski, third overall pick of the Chicoutimi Saguenayans in the QMJHL draft, just alertly gets to that loose puck and knocks it home to double Team Gold's lead. The team that had the toughest start to this event, allowing 12 goals, only allowed 4 in the subsequent 2 games. So we had a hit behind the play there, knocking down Kevin Key, and it looks like the perpetrator of that hit is going to be called for a tripping penalty here. And a familiar tale begins to be told once again as into the box goes Benjamin Cormier, and to the power play goes Team Gold. They're third to start this game, and they're 2 for 2 so far. This time Lucas Carmiris out to center the power play unit. It's knocked out of Lakovic's reach, but kept in nicely at the point by Kiersey. Swings it across for Merrick Howell. He shoots, and a good sprawling save there from Miller. Red can poke it out to the neutral zone. Diving poke check of that one, attempted by Vaughn, but Gold can get back to this one as Howell sends it across for Lakovic. But as he dropped it back, it was out of the reach of Kiersey. And the grad of Rothsay Netherwood Prep School in New Brunswick had to get it back behind his own net. Here comes Gold again. As it's fed ahead for Carmiris out of Brantford, Ontario. Spins it round back of the net. Spencer Gill leaving it there for Celebrini to knock it out to the red line. And Howell gets back to this one. Played for the Calgary Royals in the AEHL last season. So now Carmiris carries his way in. Drops this one back for Howell. Back down for Carmiris to cut up the wall with it. Dishes that one middle. It's dropped off in turn for Lakovic, but he couldn't drive his way in. Deflects back to neutral, and Kiersey the recollect here for Gold. Still time to go in this, their 3rd consecutive power play to open this game. Out shooting Team Red 10-4, but that'll tend to happen when 6 of the opening 8 minutes are spent on the power play. Red a good slap clear all the way down there. Goaltender Igorov will leave it behind the net. Thomas Lavoie there, but he's stripped to the puck. And can Reds put some pressure on shorthanded? Well, they did at least milk some valuable time off the penalty clock as Misa now will zigzag his way through center, but then had it poke check free as he tried to gain the zone. So Gold will have to try once again. Massey, the most recent goal scorer, to Carbonneau, trying to shoot from a sharp angle, but a sliding block of that one, and Red can clear it all the way down the ice. Back to even strength is Team Red as they put the pressure on in the O zone. Nathan Aspinall there got pinned by a couple Gold defenders, and Massey digs this one free, bouncing it ahead, trying to find Jordan Gavin. He'll have to give chase at the end wall. There's no icing there as he's tied up with Tristan Doyle and falls. But gets back up with it here, and Jordan Gavin then pushed off the puck, but has a teammate in Massey come in to help. Reversed to the near side now. And Hyde Davidson there takes a bump, still battles for it. As McCaggerty came in to help, got it to Gavin, cutting to the circle, and he just missed high on a quick sharp angle wrister there. Now Tristan Doyle. Spinning with it and leaving it for Terrence Smith behind his own net. He dishes it back to Doyle. Played for the Northern Alberta Extreme in the Canadian Sports School Hockey League last year, did Doyle, though he's from Winnipeg originally. Now a breakaway chance and just knocked down at the last second, preventing the team gold opportunity from finding its way in. As the chance there came from Connor Arsenault, who then has to leave it at the end wall for Quinn Kennedy. Kennedy spinning with it to the circle, fed it in front, and it ricochets off the post from Arsenault, who then stands up a defender who gets tangled up in Arsenault's skates there, and the referee will take umbrage with that. The call's going to be for a cross-check. Looks like they're going to call the retaliation by Arsenault there. He got a great deflection away from the top of the blue paint that ricocheted off the post. The St. John, New Brunswick native, one of the bigger players at this camp, 6'1", 205. Won a U18 championship last year with the St. John Vitoes out in New Brunswick. But he now heads to the box, and Team Red will get its first power play of the game. After Gold took this 2-0 advantage courtesy of going 2 for 3 in their opening 3 power plays. Parek the keep in here. Puts it down the dasher, but Merrick Howell gets there first. Couldn't clear past Celebrini, though. It's knocked around to the far side here, and Marcus Kiersey ends up putting it into the benches. So face-off to come back into Team Gold's end. Team Red still with only 4 shots in this game. But another O-zone draw here, centered by Gavin Hodnett. Out of Winnipeg, where he played for Rink Hockey Academy in the prep school ranks, leading the CSSHL in assists in his age group. As the puck comes in behind the Gold net. Red couldn't quite set it up there. Hodnett had 42 assists in 35 games at the prep school level last year. Celebrini shooting through a screen and a good butterfly save made by Igorov. Macklin Celebrini, as we said, 5 points already in this one. 117 points in 52 games for Shattuck St. Mary's in the U.S. prep school ranks last year. Centering this line with Hodnett on his left. And Hodnett was the 19th overall pick of the Edmonton Oil Kings. Played 5 games for them this regular season, putting in 2 assists, as of course Edmonton captured the Western Hockey League Championship, defeating Seattle in the final. Puck rolls behind the Team Gold cage here, and it's be jammed free by Celebrini, putting it up to the point for Bennett Seneca. Now to Hodnett. Hodnett leaves for Zane Parek, Markham Majors grad. Gave it to Celebrini. That's a hot wrister there that is stopped by Igorov. The clearance, though, nicely kept in by Parek. And then down to Hodnett. He cuts in closer, gives back to Parek at the point. Then dished across for Seneca to shoot one, and that goes off, I think, the knob of the stick of goaltender Igorov and wide. Now Hodnett again. Didn't get everything on that pass, and another try nearly intercepted, but not quite. Parek then couldn't feed it in front, though, and now some space for Lyndon Lakovic the other way. End of a long PK shift, though, so we'll shoot it in deep and smartly head off for a change. As we're less than 30 seconds to go in this power play for Team Red, looking to cut this deficit in half. But that one easily gobbled up by goaltender Igorov. Holds on to that one for a whistle. Igorov, just a 4th-round pick of the Hamilton Bulldogs. You see there, number 20 in red, Justin Poirier out of Valleyfield, Quebec. Played for the Chateauguay Grenadiers in the Quebec U18 ranks last year, where he led the league in goals as an underager with 33 of them in 49 games. 4th overall pick in the QMJHL draft, selected by the Baie-Comeau Drakkar. As Red have their final few seconds of this power play, and looks like they'll occur in their own end before getting back to even strength here and needing to keep some pressure on Team Gold, who's had a sensational start to this one. Arsenault out of the box. And Red trying to do something 5-on-5 now. Christopher Brown speeds his way in. Drops this one back for Josephson. Lots of space to shoot. He scores! The 15-year-old wearing number 15. His birthday's in a week, July 22nd. And there he snipes one home. 5th overall WHL pick, gets Team Red on the board and makes it a 2-1 game. After his great year with South Island, we mentioned 53 points in 28 games for Josephson last season. Also got a goal in 5 BCHL games with the Victoria Grizzlies and an assist in 6 games with Red Deer in the WHL. After a very busy season for him, great display of his shooting ability there to get his team on the board. As again, a puck gobbled up by Igorov, and Red will get an O-zone draw. Wasn't that long ago we were talking about how the shots on goal were 11-4 in favor of Team Gold. Since then, and really the power play helped a lot, to be fair, but the shots are just 11-9 in favor of Gold as Team Reds tilted the ice the other way quite nicely here. Started to find their legs with Raoul Boilard taking this face-off for Team Red. Played for the Magog Cantonnier in the regular season. They went all the way to the TELUS Cup final this year. Raoul playing with his brother Jules Boilard, who's also on that team. As they also made a trip to Alberta. They played that TELUS Cup in Okotoks at the Centennial Arena there. So we got a hooking call here against Gold. And although Red didn't convert on that first power play, they're going to get a second opportunity here as Maxim Massey heads to the box for the hook. And this extended puck possession by Team Red starting to pay off for them here as they force the penalty. And now Celebrini's out to take this draw. He's got Benjamin Cormier standing there in the slot, but now it's going to be Parekh here at the point. Gets a return pass, swings it to Celebrini. Back to Parekh. Celebrini had it bounce off his stick, and a battle with Kiersey here, who's double teamed in the corner. That allows Celebrini to get it back to Parekh at the point. Dished across, one-time feed to Celebrini, shoots in a right pad save. Igorov got in the way. Back to the point, Parekh keeps it in once more. Dishes for Celebrini, but it bounced out of his reach. He'll recollect and jam it down to Cormier behind the cage. Rolled out of his reach too. But as it comes to the point, nice little keep in there, and Parekh drives down to the circle with it. All the way in behind the net, trying to center, but that was nicely blocked by Kiersey. Then as it's bounced up the middle, Carmiras had to settle it down, barely got it out to the neutral zone. And Kevin Key can finally knife it the rest of the way. Took a lot of extra effort there from Gold to finally get that first clearance, but they do, and they change up the penalty killing unit. Celebrini carries in, gives off to Hodnett. He'll spin with it at the wall. Gavin Hodnett. Now Celebrini. Give it to Latimer or Lanthier with a long shot, and that is gloved and held by David Igorov for a whistle. It's Julien Lanthier there out of Saint-Eustache, Quebec, who played for the Saint-Eustache Vikings last year in the Quebec U18 ranks. 33 points in 40 games for him. He's the 10th overall pick. Again, another selection by Baie-Comeau playing in this game today. Red back on the power play with Josephson. Gives it over to William Shields. Native of Falmouth, Nova Scotia. It's flung all the way back to the Team Red blue line. Now Howell, the takeaway in his own end for Gold. And he'll shoot it all the way down the ice. Howell was a first-team All-Star in the Alberta Elite Hockey League this season. As it's dug free by Josephson once again for Red. Leaves for Lanthier. Time ticks away in this second Team Red power play. Maybe one last opportunity here before Massey comes back on the ice. Bit of a trip at the blue line. That's going to send Gold to the power play once they touch up the puck here. We're going to battle down here in the corner, and it will draw the whistle just as Massey vacates the box. It'll be a player for Team Red heading into, well, not the same box, a different box, obviously. But it does mean Team Gold gets its 4th power play of the game, and the theme of this first period has definitely been special teams. These two teams now tied in shots 11-11. But Gold has the 2 power play goals. So give them the advantage so far, and they'll try to reclaim that 2-goal advantage right here. Michael Misa on the draw. But Red taking possession. Gill's clear, kept in by Lavoie. Dropped off in the feed middle. They were looking for Carbonneau there, but intercepted and cleared all the way down ice. This will be the final game of the weekend for both of these teams. We've got Team Black taking on Team Green at 7 o'clock Mountain to cap off this, the final day of the U17 Team Canada Development Camp. Picking players for the upcoming World Under-17 Hockey Challenge, which will be in Langley and Delta, BC this November, including that marvelous Langley Event Center where the Vancouver Giants play. Here's Lavoie at the blue line. Dishes off to O'Reilly there at the wall. Now flung back across for Carbonneau. Waits, and nice delayed shot, but he just missed on the short side. and it's going to ricochet all the way back into Team Gold zone for the pickup by Lavoie. One times it all the way to the opposing blue for Carbonneau to carry in. He dishes it down low, got a return pass. Carbonneau shoots that one, and a good butterfly save made by Miller. Now Red the recollect. Short-handed opportunity for them. Ollie Josephson carries in and takes a stiff shoulder from Carbonneau. Here comes Gold the other way. Josephson no worse for wear after taking that hit. Carried in here by Lavoie, just fluttered it wide. It'll ricochet off to that far wall. Bit of a scrambly power play here. See if Gold can settle things down as they complete a line change here. And we'll try to set things up. Carmiris leaves for Arsenault. Try to weave his way in front. Had to leave in turn for Carmiris again behind the net. But dug free by Team Red, and they'll ricochet it all the way down. Time dwindling in this fourth Team Gold power play of just this first period. One last chance in the final seconds here as Quinn Kennedy carried that one in. Turned it over though, but then got right back to it. A sharp angle try there, saved. Another chance flung in front by Kennedy, but picked off by Team Red. They'll try a stretch to Christopher Brown. He's one-on-one on the carry-in. Has Lanthier joining him. He's got it all low in front, drops it off, and it's off a skate, loose in the blue paint, and where is it? It's underneath of goaltender Igorov, as what looked like a one-on-one opportunity for Red turned into a two-on-one. Then suddenly it was a three-on-one, then it was two-on-nobody down low. But Team Gold's goaltender managed to stay with it. Maybe again one pass too many for Red on that rush, and keeps his team ahead by a goal. Chatting a bit with the referee there, but frankly, when that whistle went, everybody had lost sight of that puck. He got tangled up in that maze of bodies. So often you'll see pucks like that deflect their way in. Same with that one there as it's put back in front on the second try by Jackson Vaughn, but Igorov was down with the right pad and covered it up quickly. There's another O-zone draw here for Team Red. Trying to knot this one back up. Face-off not fairly taken, so we'll try that one all over again. This will be the first World U17 Hockey Challenge this coming, is it technically in the fall or the winter? Either way, it's in November. I believe that's still the fall. But first time since the 2019 event, which was in Medicine Hat and Swift Current. These 5 teams at this camp will have to be whittled down to 3 for the event itself. Julien Lanthier down in his own end here. Dishes to neutral, and here comes Raoul Boileau. He'll carry his way in. Drop it off at the far side for a spin move by Beckett Seneca. Now dropped off for a one-timer from Seneca that just missed the target. Lanthier gets to it down low. Seneca there overskates it. Gold might have an odd man rush here. Lakovic on the carry-in, trying to dish across, but a good kneeling block of that by Zane Parekh, who not only prevented the pass from getting through, but then gets the puck back. Dishes it out to neutral on a perfect tape-to-tape pass. Parekh gets it back and put it across, and he just missed Celebrini. That would have been a heck of a finish there if that had been in his wheelhouse at the right side. Parekh had the shot block, the interception of the puck, the perfect outlet pass tape-to-tape, and then nearly sets up a goal to make it a tie game. Heck of a shift for him. Here's Celebrini again now. Shoots and a save made. The rebound's loose in front, though, but it's nicely steered away by Lyndon Lakovic, who not only had to take it away from a couple of Red forecheckers, but had to find his way around the referee's skates to take that in behind his net without it getting poked free. Did a good job of it there. Now Celebrini carries in. Drop off, and that shot's off the glove from the stick of Benjamin Cormier. Another good job by Igorov, who got enough of it. He has now made 16 saves of this first period, and there's a 17th one there off the turnaround wrister by Celebrini from the right circle. In a heck of a action-packed first period with 31 shots on goal between the two teams. 18 for Team Red, the team that's trailing, 13 for Team Gold. And of course, when there's 6 power plays in the period, you'll tend to see plenty of offensive opportunity, but really a testament to how well the goaltenders have played in this one. As Brown carries in here for Red. Centering feed doesn't get through, though. A good aggressive forecheck here by Red, not making anything easy. Finally, O'Reilly, a nice tape-to-tape feed to the neutral zone. For the carry-in by Gavin, who shot deflects and trickles wide. Red the recollect. It's fed to neutral. Christopher Brown the carry-in. He'll speed his way down to the corner and center it. Caught in skates there. Shields tried to settle it down. Couldn't quite do it. And here's Sam O'Reilly leading the rush for Gold. Riley weaves his way down low, loses his balance, but still ended up dropping it back. Gavin nearly one-timed it through, but there was too much traffic in front. Gavin then knocked down as he's tangled up with a Red defender in Terrence Smith. And that puck pops free for Red to outlet this one to neutral. There's no teammate there for it, so Gold will get a quick recollect here at the neutral zone. Now for the carry in by Maxim Massey. Shot wide of the net. And Carbonneau has to cut back to the red line with it. Nearly poke checked by Hodnett, but recollected. Carbonneau then ices it, and that'll take a face-off back into Team Gold's zone as Red try to keep the pressure on here. So it was 2 quick goals to open this one from Team Gold, both of them on the power play. Reds responded, and since then has had the vast majority of the offensive opportunities. It was Misa on the power play, 2:53 in. Then Maxim Massey on a sharp angle shot at the 5:50 mark. But then Ollie Josephson at the 11:25 mark, getting Red on the board, and they've been racking up the offensive opportunities. That last one there from Terrence Smith was a save through traffic by David Igorov. With time dwindling in this first period, it's dug free by Gold's Jordan Gavin to bounce it out to the center circle. Now Carbonneau. Justin Carbonneau carrying down the wall. Pursued by Doyle, who managed to push him off the puck. But then Tristan Doyle is stripped of it in turn. And a sharp angle try for Gold doesn't get through off the stick of Arsenault. Another good save made by Landon Miller. Now Red again. Terrence Smith had it caught in skates as he tried to carry in that time. Now Josephson won't have enough time as the buzzer goes to end our first period of play. So goals for Gold from Misa and Massey. Try saying that 10 times fast. Give them a 2-0 lead, but it's Ollie Josephson who responds at the 11:25 mark, makes it a 1-goal affair, and Team Red 19 shots in this one, so 18 really good saves from David Igorov, the story of this one so far. 1-goal game after 20 minutes of play. You are watching Hockey Canada's U17 National Team Development Camp on hockeycanada.ca. Power plays aplenty in that first period here in our second to last game of Hockey Canada's National U17 Development Camp from Winsport in Calgary. Team Gold going up 2-0 on power play goals from Michael Misa, the exceptional player status draftee of the Saginaw Spirit of the OHL. Followed up just a couple of minutes later by Maxim Massey, who notched his second goal in his last 2 games to make it 2-0. Red responded with an Ollie Josephson goal at the 11:25 mark, cut the deficit in half, and they actually outshot Gold 19-14 in that first period. Gold goaltender David Igorov with 18 saves in that opening frame to keep his team ahead as the second period is underway. I'm Tyler King. Great to have you with us on hockeycanada.ca with the whole crew from HN Live. Happy to be bringing you these last 4 days of games from Calgary, where it's 31 degrees outside, but a beautiful room temperature here in the rink as Team Red collects in their own end with Tristan Doyle starting his way up ice for Red. Spins this one up the middle for the carry-in by Gavin Hodnett. He's knocked down with a stiff hit from Marek Howell. The puck goes in on goaltender Igorov, who covers up for our first whistle of this middle frame. One more game to go at U17 camp. Black will play green at 7 o'clock. Team Black coming off a big 7-4 win in our morning game against Team White. There were 5 teams at this week of development, starting with a couple of practices each and then 4 games for each team. Here's Misa speeding his way in. And Mississauga Senators grad spinning his way up to the point with it now and firing that one off to the far wall. Benjamin Cormier there for Red. Pressured though. Backed up by a teammate as a back body drop thrown there by Celebrini, knocking down Thomas Lavoie. The puck sent all the way down. Linesman's whistle goes there. Tough one for Lavoie there. Goes up over Tea Kettle with Celebrini's low collision with him. Thankfully, neither player any worse for wear. And the face-off will be just outside Team Red's end. Clean win for Gold here to knock this one in deep. And there's goaltender Landon Miller stopping it. Second round pick of the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds in the Ontario Hockey League. Seneca carries in here for Red, spins that one to the high slot. Gold couldn't clear it that time. Here's Beckett Seneca once again, trying to weave to the side of the net, but stripped to the puck. And Maddox McCaggerty can shoot that one all the way down. Should be icing here. And it is. Another O-zone draw coming up here for Team Red. Look there, it's Maxim Massey, number 22 of Team Gold, who has one of their 2 goals. Third overall pick of Chicoutimi in the QMJHL draft this past year. Played for the Collège Notre Dame Albatross in the Quebec U18 ranks this year with 43 points in 40 games. Third highest goal scorer in Quebec U18 hockey this year. As we mentioned, these players all 15 or 16 years of age. Most of them 06 born players. Of course, Misa is an 07 born. Allowed to be drafted into the major junior ranks a year early after being granted exceptional player status. Backdoor feed there. They were looking for McCaggerty, but Red managed to intercept. No shot comes that time. Justin Poirier skates the other way. Cut off by Sam O'Reilly. But Red keeping pressure on with Josephson, who has a goal. Dishing one across, and that sharp angle wrister is gloved and held again by David Igorov for a whistle that stops play. He's used to being busy. In his other game that he played at this tournament, or at this camp I should say, he made 40 saves on 42 shots. When Gold eked out a win over Team Black by a 3-2 margin. As we mentioned off the start of the broadcast, it was Marek Howell, number 4. The first team Alberta AAA All-Star, who had the game winner in that one, as that one rings off the top of the crossbar. Another good chance for Red. Then it's chopped over the corner glass. Deflected off of a Team Gold stick, though, so Team Red will get an offensive zone draw. Boy, have they bounced back nicely after a tough start for them. 3 consecutive penalty kills to get going in this first period for them, so on their heels early and really didn't have an opportunity to find much momentum. But since getting that goal from Josephson just over halfway through the first period, they've really seized control of the even strength play in this one. Terrence Smith at the point here. Jams it down the wall. Aspinall giving chase behind the net for Red. Double teamed by a couple of Gold defenders, though. And they'll go glass, but not out. Good glove down by Doyle. Down to Aspinall once more, but it rolled out of his reach. Hyde Davidson there, though, is pinned by Celebrini. He gets tripped up a bit, but got back up, and Red keep possession here. Tristan Doyle swings this one across, and the long wrister skips off of goaltender Igorov. It's Terrence Smith taking the shot that time. Smith again now. Puts it down the wall. Davidson there for Gold. Had to lift a defender or a forechecker's stick. And again recollected by Gold. To the center circle there where it was Jackson Vaughn who lost an edge. Still managed to carry in and get a quick shot away that Igorov gloves and holds. And again, we have played plenty down in this team Gold end. As Red head for a change here, they're going to get another offensive zone opportunity with some fresh skates out there on the ice. Chief among them there, the center Gavin Hodnett. Off that draw, it comes to the blue line, and Red can't quite keep it in. So a counterattack chance for Gold with Gavin spinning that one ahead. Carmeras carrying in, fed it through the crease, no one there. Another centering pass, though, picked off, and Red can skate the other way with it. Chipped down ice by Shields, and that will be icing as Howell had a step on his man. The face-off now going to come back into Team Red's end. You see Christopher Brown on the right side of our screen there, North York Rangers U16 grad, where he had 60 points in 46 games. 16th overall pick of the Sioux Greyhounds in the OHL draft. Now Spencer Gill for Red. Nice this one ahead. Christopher Brown chasing it down at the end wall. Poked it, but it was out of the reach of Hodnett. Cutting down the wall was Lantier to keep that one alive. But now Massey takes it for Gold and banks it out to the red line. Now they got a 2-on-1 rush. Gavin's the man on the left side. He takes the pass, shoots, and no, they're saying it went off the left post. Looked like it snuck in, but the ref in perfect position to wave that one off on a perfect feed across to Jordan Gavin, who one-timed it from the left side. And then the linesman's whistle goes down at the Gold blue line. And boy, if that didn't go in, it came as close as it could to going in. Officials conversing here. I'm not sure if it's about that last whistle or about the wave off of the goal. But boy, Jordan Gavin took that pass at the left side. Looked like he'd snuck it in on the left side of the net, but the ref sitting right there. It took a bit of an awkward bounce back out, so easily could have gone off the inside of the left post. But they are talking about this quite a bit. Nope, it's no goal. Tough break there for Team Gold. For Gavin, it would have been his second goal of this week-long camp. So here's Seneca carrying in for Red. Nice little move around a defender in Lavoie, but then he's pushed hard into the end wall. Got it in front, shot, scores! Benjamin Cormier got that one at the top of the blue paint and absolutely slammed it home from nearly point-blank range. And we got a whole new hockey game. Team Reds made it 2-2. Cormier's first of this camp, but he had 38 of them in regular season play in 30 games for the Navan grads of the Eastern Ontario U18 ranks. That time taking an excellent feed from the end wall. Right in his wheelhouse to one-time that home, and not much that Igorov can do on that one besides take up as much of the net as he can and hope that puck hits him. That time it did not. McCagarty carries in here, just misses on the wrister off the rush. Howell pokes it back down low. His goal trying to respond, having seen this 2-goal lead evaporate. Point shot there is stopped nicely by Landon Miller. Zane Perek there almost stripped of it in front of the net. Gold with a good job on the forecheck here to keep things busy, as now it's scooped up by McCagarty again at the blue line. He's pressured though. Knocked to neutral, but Gold the intercept. As Mckinnis takes that away for Red at his blue line. Leaves for Seneca to zigzag through the center circle. Back at Seneca, carries in. Nifty move to the side of the net. The backhand shot is saved by Igorov. Celebrini now. Managed to poke it to the middle. Seneca drops for Celebrini. He couldn't drive his way in front, as a couple of sticks from Team Gold were there to knock it out of his reach. Tristan Doyle now. Fires it to the center circle. Howell one-hands it the other way. Kevin He now charging his way in and shooting, and a good butterfly save by Miller. Another whistle, another O-zone draw coming up here for Gold, being outshot in this one, 26-18, as you see Kevin He there, number 11 on Team Gold out of Nobleton, Ontario. Played in the GTHL for the North York Rangers last year. 25 points in 16 games of regular play. 2 goals already at this camp. He was a late first-round pick from Niagara of the OHL. Red under some pressure in their own zone here, trying to get this breakout going. And finally they will. Getting it to neutral for Josephson to carry in. His shot went off a defender's stick and missed the target. Doyle keeps it in. But couldn't do much else with it, as Gold get it out to the penalty box boards here. Doyle the other way, stymied at the blue. Poirier got tripped up but still kept it alive. Doyle's sharp angle shot goes off the shoulder of Igorov. Didn't go out of play though. Play kept alive at the far wall. Terrence Smith spinning with it at the point. Chips it down the dasher for Boilard. He puts it to the end wall. Josephson's there, but he's cut off by a defending Gold player, and it's knifed out just to neutral ice, where it's scooped up by Marcus Kiersey. The Newfoundlander bounces it into the red zone. Then poked free, a chance all alone in front with a shot that's saved by a sprawling Landon Miller. Turnover by Red in front of their own net, and they are not made to pay for it, as that sharp angle tries a bit of a scrambly save for Igorov, denying Justin Poirier after that carry in. And that'll draw a bit of a meeting of the minds down at Team Gold's net. Good chances at both ends of the ice there. One of our referees will send at least one player to the box out of that fracas. And it's going to be offsetting roughing minors here, so looks like we'll play some 4-on-4 hockey when it resumes. Keith Mckinnis off to the box for Team Red. And the door to Gold is open. And that'll be Colton Roberts heading in for Team Gold. So 4-on-4 hockey here. Timers aren't up on the score clock yet. I think they're just needing a quick second to pop them up there. It'll be an O-zone draw for Red. Macklin Celebrini there, you see in the center circle. Red take possession off the draw. Spinning with it there is Lanthier. Now spun across to Zane Parekh. He'll cut down the wall. Parekh, the 19th overall pick of Saginaw in the OHL draft. Spins with it here. Just under a point a game with the Markham Majors this year for Parekh. This now is Seneca spinning with it as well. 8th overall pick of the Oshawa Generals. Seneca shoots and he just missed the net. Deflects out to Lanthier, but he couldn't keep it in. And Red will have to go back and get it in their own zone. Zane Parekh once again. Red on the 4-on-4. Celebrini speeding in. Showing off that talent, but a good back check to poke it free from Gold. Couldn't get it out though, and there's the one-timer from Parekh that just missed the target. That one was on a tee for him that time. Now Thomas Lavoie there for Gold. Fed one up the middle, looking for Lakovic. He's in behind the D, dropping this one off for Gavin. Another chance all alone, but couldn't get a clean shot away as he was tied up at the last second. Jordan Gavin could easily have 2 or 3 goals in this one for Team Gold, but just not the kind of puck luck others have been gifted with. Seneca carries in, had it poke check free. Got to be careful in front of the benches here. Not too many men against Team Red that time. And the 4-on-4 continues here with Gold collecting in their own end. Here comes Michael Misa, speeding his way in. The 07 born forward cutting his way to the circle with it, but he ran into 2 Red defenders. Couldn't beat them both, and now it turns into a 2-on-1 the other way. Hodnett carrying in for Red, fed across, one-timer, and what a save! Cormier was robbed by David Igorov on a great pass through the slot. It comes after the inauspicious turnover by Team Red in the offensive zone. 4-on-4 comes to an end. We're back to 5-on-5, and both teams having made good use of the extra ice over that 2-minute sequence, but neither able to find the back of the net. Now a carry in for William Shields, dished across, and that return feed picked off, and it's Misa again with a blind feed to neutral that's right to Hyde Davidson to carry in. He dishes one across, 2 teammates there, and it bounced off both of their sticks. Massey and Kennedy were both at the right side, but neither could get to that puck for what could have been a great chance for gold on the odd man opportunity. Now Davidson dishes one ahead, and a point-blank shot from O'Reilly is denied by Landon Miller. He holds on, and then we'll get some shoving and pushing at the side of the net once again. The referee with repeated blowing of the whistle to further emphasize the point that this must all cease, and we'll have another face-off in Team Red's end here. No penalties coming out of that most recent fracas, at least. But again, both teams getting some real good opportunities on odd man rushes. There it was Gold's turn to get a good chance, but with barely any room to move and to maneuver, Landon Miller makes one of his best saves of this afternoon matchup. Kiersey spins that one across and gets a return pass. Flung ahead now for Quinn Kennedy to carry in. Dropped off to Kiersey. He had it poke check free. And that sharp angle try from Josephson didn't get through. Brown fires it back in from neutral. There's Roberts again for gold. Took an awkward hop off the boards, but Kiersey did a good job to settle it down and manages to sweep it into Team Red's zone. No icing on this one, as pursuing is Connor Arsenault for gold, but he tumbles into the end wall. Still working at it was O'Reilly, but couldn't keep possession, and Red can get it to the center circle, but no further. Now O'Reilly once more. Nice feet ahead, and in stride is Carmiras to put it across, but McHaggerty, it was just out of his reach. He'll recollect and keep the play alive for Lavoie, though. On his backhand, trying to knife that one to the middle. Couldn't do it and has to recollect at the center circle again. Terrence Smith on the chase down here for Red. Leaves it, but McHaggerty almost pounced on that loose puck. Gold looking for the O-zone takeaway here, but well recollected by Red. As it's off the skate of Josephson, chased down by Jackson Vaughn. He had it poke check free by Merrick Howell, though. And this time Gold pressured at their own blue, so retreating a bit with it is Carmiras to get himself some more space. And now the feed to center is right to McHaggerty. Carries in and makes that spin move at the half wall. Nice feed between the skates for Carbonneau to carry down low. Justin Carbonneau cycling that one for McHaggerty, then behind the net. The feed back to the point, nobody there for it, and we'll get a race back in Team Gold's zone. Goaltender Igorov will come out and settle it down. That'll allow Colton Roberts to get to it. Roberts 6'4", 180 pounds, out of Ridge Meadows, BC. Part of that Delta U17 team. Also 5 games with the Vancouver Giants in the WHL last year for number 6 of Gold. Now Justin Poirier carrying in for Red. That shot skips off of Igorov away to the far wall. Another sharp angle try, and Igorov's up to that task too. Back to the red line it comes. Poke checked ahead. A race now for Jordan Gavin to get there. He's had lots of chances in this second period. This time he drops it off for Lakovic. Lyndon Lakovic puts it off to the far side, and that wrister saved the rebound there. Carbonneau shoots, and another great save made by Landon Miller. As number 9 Gold had that bounce right to him. The initial shot came from the far half wall. Miller got in the way. It pops out to the other side. Carbonneau's there, but just barely denied by Team Red's goaltender. Carbonneau, who had the 4th most assists in Quebec's U18 ranks last year, playing for Lévis, nearly gets a big goal to put his team back ahead by 1. But we remain in a 2-2 deadlock as that point shot's tipped onto Miller. He makes the save. No rebound that time, and he'll set up for a face-off coming in his own end. So both these goaltenders putting together some real nice performances. That was the 21st save for Landon Miller. At the other end, David Igorov has now made 30 saves on 32 shots. And we're just over halfway through the game. So heck of an outburst for Red in terms of getting that puck toward Team Gold's net as Poirier threw a hit at the center circle there. Now Gill swings it across for the carry-in. It's Hodnett down the wall. Recollecting at the point, but turns it over. Now Gold's turn with Kevin He leading the rush. Tangled up with a defender. Spins with it, but lost at edge. Still dropped it off to Lakovic. He'll cut his way down behind the net with it. Lyndon Lakovic all the way up to the high slot here on his backhand. Has to dish it off to the point, and the long wrister from Howell is gloved and held by goaltender Miller once more. Call it now 22 saves for number 31 in red. As there you see Merrick Howell, the first-team All-Star in the Alberta AAA ranks last year. 16th overall pick of the Moose Jaw Warriors, for whom he played in 5 games this past season, notching a goal and an assist. Got 3 points in the first 3 games of this U17 camp. Does number 4 in goal, who you saw there, as that bounces in on Landon Miller. He covers up for another whistle. Team Red's goaltender there, the Thornhill native who played for the Vaughan Kings in the GTHL last season. As there we see Quinn Kennedy, the Nova Scotia native. He played for the Halifax Max in the Nova Scotia U18 ranks last year. 41 points in 33 games over the course of the season. He was named a rookie all-star as well. Ninth overall pick of Rimouski, by the way, is Quinn Kennedy. As Reds turn to put some pressure on here late in this second period. Looking for their first lead of the afternoon, but it won't happen this time. Instead, it's a 3-on-2 rush for Gold. The backhand shot there may have ricocheted off the post and off goaltender Miller. And Red can recollect here and try to skate the other way. Bennett Seneca carrying in here and shooting one. That ricochets off of a defender and actually stopped on a dime there for Gold to then take it back and for Quinn Kennedy to lead the rush. Carries in, but Tristan Doyle got in the way. Just knife it off to the far side. And the stretch pass there misses Seneca, but no icing as it's corralled by Gold in their own zone. Spun ahead for Carmiris to lead the rush. Puts it middle, and Smith intercepts there for Red. Gets the stick into the back of Sam O'Reilly, knocking him down in the corner. Players converge down there, and the puck pops out of play. 5:32 showing on your second period clock there. And what was once a 2-goal Team Gold advantage has evaporated here in this second period. Ollie Josephson got the initial goal late in the first to get Team Red on the board. And it was Benjamin Cormier on a beautiful one-timer from the top of the crease, set up by Beckett Seneca from the end wall. Macklin Celebrini had the other assist on that one. So Celebrini now has 6 points in these 4 games of U17 development camp. But most importantly, completing the comeback for his team to make it a 2-2 game. Zane Perek here for Red. Trying to get out of his own zone. He does spin this one free for Raoul Boilard to carry in. Taken back by Gold, though, but that feed to neutral. Perek was waiting for it. It's almost telegraphed to him. And he's able to get it to Vaughn for that initial shot, but no rebound that time as Igorov makes another stop and gets his team a whistle. 31 saves so far for Team Gold's goaltender. So there we see Jackson Vaughn, Kelowna, BC native, who played for the Rink Hockey Academy Kelowna. There's the original rink in Winnipeg, and now there's the rink in Kelowna. Don't ask me to tell you how many OHAs there are now. He had 37 points in 32 games, did Vaughn, including a 6-game stint with the Regina Pats in the WHL, for whom he was the 21st overall pick. I believe it's 3 OHAs, just to answer my own question. They got the one in Kelowna, they got the one in Edmonton, and now there's an OHA Ontario. I believe that's the 3. Someone may correct me, though. I believe there's 2 rink academies, 2 Okanagan hockey academies, one of which is in the Okanagan. I hope you're all paying attention. There'll be a quiz on this later. As the one-timer is wide off the stick of Thomas Lavoie. Battled for in behind Team Red's net. Gold to recollect, getting it to Lavoie, shooting through a screen again. He just missed outside the right post. Wraparound try that time, and Miller makes a good save on Jordan Gavin, who has been awfully snake-bit, it seems, in this second period. He easily could have a multi-point night for Team Gold with some of the opportunities he's created, but they're denied by some more good positioning by Landon Miller. Gavin heads to the bench after another real good shift for him. He's one of the youngest players at this camp, and we're including Michael Misa in that category, of course, as he was born in 07. But Jordan Gavin doesn't turn 16 until November the 13th. We had another 15-year-old, of course, Josephson, who doesn't turn 16 for another week, score a goal earlier in this game, the first of the 2 Team Red goals. Now there's Misa, as we mentioned, the 07 born. Trying to dig this puck free at the circle. Tangled up with a defender and couldn't keep possession. So now William Shields the other way. Dishes to the center circle and Gavin Hodnett. Gets a return pass and shoots. Good save made and a rare rebound from Igorov, but he found it quickly. Could tell he never had trouble spotting that puck, and he was able to get his trapper on top of it nice and quickly to prevent any subsequent opportunities from developing for Team Red. But boy, you gotta love the tenacity of this Team Red squad. Snake bit against a really good goaltender, falling behind 2-0 early on the penalty kill for the majority of the first period, and never really lost their edge that we've seen anytime these teams have been at even strength. Hodnett out to take this draw. They put up 34 shots here as we head toward the end of the second period. But it's Gold with a quick clear this time off that D-zone draw. Kevin He dishes ahead, and Massey put it through the slot. It was just out of Misa's reach. Massey trying to turn and shoot from the circle, but he just fanned on the puck that time. So Hyde Davidson back at the red. Pressured here, but a good job to take that puck back and give it to He in front of the scorer's booth. Dishes this one middle. Gold is offside. They got to retreat here. And Red's got a bit of time to zigzag out to the center circle and leave for Spencer Gill. Played for the Moncton Flyers, who won the TELUS Cup in Okotoks, just south of Calgary. About 20 to 30 minutes, depending on traffic. That Moncton Flyers squad had a couple of 16-year-olds on their team. Spencer Gill and Jeremy Richard, I believe, was the name of the other. As Gill puts it to the middle, and that long shot just goes wide left of the net. Rebound bouncing in the blue paint, and a shot is a sprawling save from Igorov. Rebound again, and scores! Hodnett looked like his second try finally found its way through, and Team Red has taken the lead for the first time today. Just a maze of bodies in front of Team Gold's net, and all the credit in the world to David Igorov, who made at least 2 or 3 saves on that sequence. But Hodnett got a subsequent opportunity through, and it looked like it took a second, but found its way over the goal line. And the grad of the Rink Hockey Academy in Winnipeg has given his team a 1-goal advantage. As we said, led the CSSHL in assists last season, but they're showing off some scoring prowess. 17 goals, 42 assists, 59 points in 35 games for Hodnett in the regular season this year. Another chance from a sharp angle that's saved by Igorov. That was off of Poirier's stick. Another try from the high slot, but Smith wasn't looking at the net that time, so it ends up missing by quite a bit. But his team's able to keep the pressure on here. Poirier, another hot wrister from the high slot. Goes off a body and wide. Smith again. Back across for Tristan Doyle. He'll dish it down low. And there, Boilard ends up missing on the short side. And as those shots tend to do when they miss, it'll ricochet all the way back into his own end. Taron Smith in his own zone for Red. Dishes to Poirier at neutral. He'll get a return pass. Carry in with Raoul Boilard. He gets knocked down. There'll be a penalty here, and the shot goes wide off the stick of Aspinall. As Gold touch up here, and Team Red will go back to the power play here. Another hooking penalty. Going to send them to their 3rd power play of this game. They're 0 for 2 so far. Of course, power plays are the only way Team Gold has scored in this one. They're 2 for 4. And with Red having scored 3 even strength goals on 40 shots through just these opening 38 minutes. We'll see how many more they can get in this power play opportunity that may take up the majority of the remainder of this period. As Red win the draw, Zane Parekh dishes off to the far side. Gets a return pass. Parekh fed it across, and Celebrini faked the one-timer. Tried to dish that across. It went off the body of Sam O'Reilly, but taken back by Beckett Seneca at the far wall. Seneca driving down the boards. Waits and surveys now and dishes back up to the point for Parekh. Back to Seneca. That one-timer saved by Igorov, who didn't have to move. He's already down in the butterfly, and the puck went right in the breadbasket, but less than a quarter of this power play taken up by that last sequence for Team Red, with lots of time here to try to extend this lead. So with Justin Carbonneau in the box for Gold, Igorov gets a return of his water bottle there, and now we're set to go. He has been busy. 38 saves for him in this one so far, and still a period to go. Perek dishes that one across. Then it comes to Celebrini once again. He's on a sharp angle here, looking for an option. Going to put it back to the point for Perek. Then off to the far side it comes. Perek got it back. Shoots one, and it's off the stick of a teammate in Hodnett, and then corralled by Seneca at the far side. Seneca tried to knife it back to Hodnett, but a gold stick gets in the way. Good keeping, though, by Perek to keep this alive. He'll skate in closer, gets tripped up, still gives it to Celebrini. No penalty on that play. Comes back across again. And Seneca tried to feed it across. Perek has to keep it in off the deflection. Dishes back across, and Celebrini with an expensive one-timer there as the graphite shatters all over the ice in Team Gold zone. Perek recollects in behind his own net for Red. Gold bailed out by the fragility of the composite that time. Now Perek holding on again at the blue. Dishes across. It's going to come to Hodnett again here. To the far circle, now to Perek, dishing to the slot. It's off a stick and bouncing, and a good one-time clear there by Lyndon Lakovic to get it all the way down the ice. William Shields will get to this in the dying seconds of the second period. Looking for that 2-goal lead. Red through center here. Julien Lantier carries in, shoots, and he missed on the short side. Power play is over. Period's nearly over as one last shot is punched away by David Igorov. The buzzer will go, and these teams head into the dressing room with a very, very different setup than what we saw after 20 minutes. It was Benjamin Cormier tying things early in the second period. Team Red then getting the go-ahead goal off the stick of Gavin Hodnett to make it a 3-2 game. They're outshooting their opposition 43-28. So although the offensive explosion and comeback by Red is a big piece of it right now, you really got to keep your eye on David Igorov and how good of a performance he's going to end up putting together by the time this one is all said and done. He's only played 2 periods of this one, and he has made 40 saves to keep Team Gold well in this one. We'll take a break for your second intermission. Coming up, the conclusion with Team Red leading Team Gold 3-2 on hockeycanada.ca. Back at Winsport in Calgary, Tyler King for our HN Live crew on hockeycanada.ca as we're one period away from the conclusion of what's been a barn burner between Team Red and Team Gold in their final game of Team Canada U17 development camp. It was a comeback second period for Team Red, trailing 2-1 after the first period. Benjamin Cormier scores 4 minutes in. Then with just over 3 minutes left in the period, Gavin Hodnett converts to give Red its first lead of this game. Back underway now. See if Gold can reclaim the momentum or if Red has permanently shifted things in this one. They are out shooting Team Gold 43-28. The goaltender David Igorov, you can see there in the Team Gold net, has been one of the stars of this one, making 40 stops so far. Maybe another one to come here. There it is. A Smith shot was deflected, but a pad save made by Gold's goaltender. Again, Terrence Smith collecting at the blue line and spinning it back down low, just out of the reach of Christopher Brown. But he'll recollect down in the corner. Get it to the end wall and Hodnett. Put it back up to the point. There's Tristan Doyle shooting another save for Igorov. How about two of them in the opening 35 seconds? And finally, Gold can get it all the way down to Team Red's end. Terrence Smith again here. As Red hasn't won any games in regulation at this camp. They won over Team White in overtime 4-3 in their most recent game, following up a 4-3 overtime loss to Green and a 5-1 regulation loss to Black. And there's a top shelf shot, scores, and Red is out to its largest lead of the week with a beautiful wrister from the high slot coming off the stick of Zane Parekh. He's had a few opportunities like that. That time it goes bar and in, and Team Red has made it a 4-2 game. First goal of the camp for him. And just 8 goals in 23 games for Markham in the GTHL in the regular season, but the shot there was perfectly placed to double this Team Red lead. Now Massey with a good move around a defender to get a good chance for Gold to try to make it a 1-goal game again, but that time it was Landon Miller's turn to shine and get in the way. Kevin He now for Gold, trying to knife that one in front, but deflects off a stick, and now Cormier can bounce that out to the center circle. He is there to intercept. Carries his way in and shoots one that deflects off a stick and up over the end glass and out of play. So just over a minute into the third period, and it's Zane Parekh scoring on a top shelf wrister from the slot to make it 4-2 for Team Red. 4 consecutive goals for Red to respond to that early 2-0 deficit. It came as they took 3 consecutive penalties to open this first period. Gold took advantage with the 2 power play goals, but great response here from the red team. Marcus Kiersey back at his own blue for Gold. Leaves now for Thomas Lavoie. Now this one out to neutral, and Michael Misa leads the rush. Weaves his way into the slot, but the puck just rolled off the heel of his stick. Lavoie the keep in, though. That shot's out of a body. Loose for Misa, shooting, and from the seat of his pants, Landon Miller gets in the way of that one. Another good stop there, scrambly though it was, and he keeps his team ahead by 2. See Sam O'Reilly come back out for Team Gold, the Vaughan Kings grad, who was 14th in the GTHL in goal scoring with 17 of them this past season. 34 points in 32 games for him as that quick wrister knocked away by Miller. O'Reilly was the 37th overall pick by London in the most recent OHL draft, as Boilard here for Red spins this one ahead, gets a return pass. Raoul Boilard couldn't get that one through, though. Another chance for Terrence Smith here on the keep in at the blue line. Nifty little spinorama by Smith to the high slot, shooting it off the left post. That would have been a beauty if that had been completed with the puck getting into the back of the net after the Savardian spinorama by number 4 on Red. Now that one deflects over the corner glass. We'll get another whistle that stops play. It's a heck of a shot from Terrence Smith, number 4 on Team Red, the Porcupine Plains, Saskatchewan native. Played for the Saskatoon Blazers in the Saskatchewan AAA ranks last year. 34 points in 43 games, good enough for him to be a second-team All-Star, and also got into 3 games with the Everett Silvertips of the WHL, for whom he was the 20th overall pick a couple of years ago in the WHL Bantam Draft. Lantier gets to this in his own end for Red. Spins it up the wall, and Celebrini trying to chase this one down. Pushed off the puck by Carbonneau, though. And Gold has a bit of space here to recollect. Roberts couldn't quite get that one out, though. As Red get this one down for Aspinall behind the net. He'll center it, and that's picked off. Lakovic the other way here for Gold. He's stymied, though, as he tried to exit the zone, but we'll get another chance at it here. Will 15 in Gold. Lakovic got it to Roberts at the neutral zone. He'll carry his way in, give it to McCaggerty. Try to feed it back middle, and Red pick it off, and they could have numbers the other way here. That quick wrister saved by Igorov. Knocked all the way down into Team Red's zone. Could have enough on it for icing, and it does. So another offensive zone draw coming up here for Team Red. Nearing the 50-shot mark in this third period. Scoring early in this final regulation frame for their fourth consecutive goal since giving up that early 2-0 advantage. Got one more game to go. It's 7 o'clock here in Calgary. This Team Black will play their second game of the day, taking on Team Green to finish off U17 development camp. McCaggerty there, stymied in front of his own bench as Red try to keep the pressure on, but they're just a smidge offside that time. So the face-off will go back to the neutral zone. So look there at Christopher Brown, North York Rangers U16 grad. Had 60 points in 46 games last year. One of a couple of Sault Ste. Marie prospects in the OHL on the ice here today. Keith Mckinnis now carrying in for Red and putting that one down the dasher. Spun back to Mckinnis at the point, flinging it around back of the net. It was out of Brown's reach, but Spencer Gill gets there to knock it back down low. Hyde Davidson got in the way for Gold and bounces it all the way down to Team Red's end. Giving chase there is Mckinnis once more. Quickly one times that ahead for William Shields. And he'll flick it out to the neutral zone. Red now finding Mckinnis on an open left wing. He puts it back to the slot, but it bounced off of William Shields' stick. Red the keep in, though. This is Brown once more. Dish that one across for Gill. He'll wind and fire it, and Igorov didn't have to move again. That puck goes right into the logo on the front of his jersey, and he holds on for a whistle. All these players would love to be wearing that Maple Leaf logo. Coming up in November, the World Under-17 Hockey Challenge will be in Langley and Delta, BC. Keep your eyes out on hockeycanada.ca/tickets for information on attending those games. Of course, the marquee games will be at the Langley Event Center, home of the Vancouver Giants, a marvelous facility out there just outside of Metro Vancouver. There's Gold here, putting some pressure back on. That sharp angle try doesn't get through off of Robert's stick, and it'll be pounced on again by Landon Miller to get his team a whistle-stopping play. Miller allowed 5 goals his first time out at U17 camp. Here in this one, he's been a great story. Of course, allowing those 2 goals on the power play to start, but has not given up anything even strength. And right there, point-blank denial of Sam O'Reilly to keep his team ahead by 2. Cormier leading the rush now for Team Red. Dishes to Celebrini. What a shot, but a good save made by Igorov on that low wrister. Smith the keep in here. That one deflects back down low. Celebrini leaves for Beckett Seneca. Now up to the point it comes. And a couple of good poke checks there for Gold. Kevin He now has some space to carry in. Dishing that one in front. O'Reilly just poked it in on goal. And Miller, I don't think ever covered it up. The net might have gotten dislodged. It was just lying there on his pad after another point-blank chance for Sam O'Reilly. But Team Red's goaltender again has been perfect since that 2-0 deficit. Now has made 32 saves on 34 shots by Team Gold. Great bounce back for number 31 on Red. And not that either of the 2 goals that he let in were anything to do with him to begin with. Of course, they were great, perfectly placed shots by Gold that gave them that 2-0 lead. But he has been perfect ever since, as Gold trying to do something about that. A high rising wrister from Kennedy. Good blocker saved by Miller that time. And he ends up deflecting it over the end glass. It's been a very offensively themed game, that much is for sure. Between these 2 teams, we've had 83 total shots on goal. 48 of them for Red, 35 of them for Gold. Both goaltenders have been certainly tested right off the draw. Another one there for Carbonneau. And the blocker in the way there for Miller. As it comes down to the corner again. And Gold getting a few really good chances here, although Red's goaltender's been up to the task as they try to make this one a 1-goal game again. But Red now Here's Hodnett, who tied the game back in the second. Back to neutral for Zane Parekh, who scored here in the third. Aspinall returns it to Parekh. Now given to Hodnett, but it was just out of his reach. No icing as he'll chase it down. One-handed off to the right corner this time. Jackson Vaughn there. Got it back up to the blue line. Spencer Gill to keep in to get it back down to Hodnett. He is pinned by Marcus Kiersey. Played prep school in New Brunswick. Newfoundlander originally is number 7 of gold. Now it's number 8 of gold, Quinn Kennedy, to leave it in turn for Thomas Lavoie. Now Kennedy again. Nice pass to Carbonneau at neutral. Here comes the Lévis, Quebec native, dishing it left side, getting a return pass. Carbonneau couldn't do anything with it that time. And Spencer Gill now for red. Fires it out to Boilard at neutral. He'll carry his wing in. Drop it off. That was poke free, but Mckinnis backs his man up. Does a little zigzag to the mid-blue line, and then dishes off to the far wall. There it's Josephson again, who got the Team Red scoring going in the first period that cued that 4-goal comeback. Dishes it in behind the net for Boilard once again. He's tied up with Hyde Davidson. 4 players converge on that puck down low. Pops free once again to Hodnett and gotten out to the point for Gill. Puts it back down low. Is out of Josephson's reach. And Gold try to jam this one out, and they will to Carbonneau at the red. But his pass ahead bounced over the stick of Jordan Gavin. Team Red will manage to settle this one down. Pass ahead, though, nobody there for it. Could be icing, and it is. And the O-zone draw will come up here for Team Gold to try to get their first goal in quite some time. The last time they found the back of the net was 5 minutes and 50 seconds into this game when Maxim Massey got a sharp angle shot through that made it at the time 2-0. So there we got a shot of Justin Poirier, number 20 for red. Played for the Chateauguay Grenadiers this past season. 49 points for him. 33 of them were goals to lead Quebec's U18 ranks. As again, here's Red shooting this one ahead. Poirier was just out of his reach. The aforementioned Quebec U18 sniper. And now Gold can put it back out to the neutral zone. Lucas Carmiris on the carry in here. Got around one defender. The sharp angle try, though, easily scooped by Miller. And he'll hold on for another whistle. Both teams certainly a lot more disciplined than we saw in the first period and a bit. Felt like the entire game was being played on the power play early in this one. Both teams have settled down nicely. In particular, Team Red, which since those opening 3 penalty kills to start the game has only been called for 1 additional penalty. As this now is Christopher Brown trying to muscle his way past 2 Team Gold defenders. Couldn't do it that time as Merrick Howell will get to this at the far wall. Dish it all the way down to Team Red's end. It was Howell who had the game-winning goal in their 3-2 win over Team Black in their second game of the U17 camp for Team Gold. Now Christopher Brown again. Put it out to Smith. Terrence Smith fed this one across. There's a backdoor feed by Doyle, but nobody there to hammer it home. Smith to keep in at the point. And Brown evaded 3 back checkers to put it back down low. That feed in front, though, an alert stick from Igorov prevented it from getting to the tape of a Red player in front. Now the other way skates Gold. With a quick centering pass by Misa that doesn't find its way through. But again, Misa showing off that great speed through neutral ice to get that chance off the rush started. Now Kevin He once again. Tripped up, there'll be a penalty coming up here. Just as I said, everyone had gotten much better at not taking penalties, in particular Team Red. Look what I've done, ladies and gentlemen. Team Red back on the PK here for the 5th time in this game. An opportunity knocking big time for Team Gold. Both of their goals came on the power play back in the first period. See if special teams can cue a comeback for them as Terrence Smith, who's played lots of important minutes on the back end for Red, heads into the box. And Gold with a big opportunity now. They win the draw. That was Lavoie leaving it at the far side for Misa. He scored on the power play early in the first period from that exact spot. Dishes it down low. So it comes free to Carbonneau. His shot doesn't get through. The keep in then by Lavoie. Dishes to Misa. Michael Misa trying to cut to the end wall. Gets cut off though by Seneca. A big crowd of players will converge on that puck at the end boards. Finally pops free for Misa once again. to the point for Lavoie. Shoots a long one, save made, rebound, scores! Jordan Gavin there at the right side of the net, finally rewarded. Knocking that one into a yawning cage and getting Team Gold back within one. The 15-year-old out of Surrey, BC, who led the CSSHL's U17 division in goals last year and was second in points. Could have had a lot of them in this game. Didn't seem to have any luck, but there, Johnny on the spot at the right side of the cage, whacking that one home. And on the power play once again, Team Gold converts, and they are within one. Love to see it from Gavin, who didn't let frustration take over at all after being robbed on a bevy of opportunities in that second period. There on the power play, perfectly positioned, and makes no mistake tapping that one in for the third special teams goal of this game for Team Gold. Red trying to respond quickly here, but a good disrupt of that by Lakovic as he'll leave it for Merrick Howell. Approaching the halfway mark of this third period, and nothing's really been decided yet. We got a nail-biter here in our second to last game of U17 development camp. Lakovic shot blockered away by Miller. Red the other way here. It's jammed around back of the cage by Seneca once again. Lanthier down the wall to try to keep this play alive. Gotten to Seneca at the end boards again. He had his stick lifted by Hyde Davidson, though, who can bounce that to the neutral zone. Intercepted Celebrini. Leaving for Cormier. Benjamin Cormier, though, tangled up just inside the blue line. Carries back in onside. Dishes that one nicely across for Seneca. Long shot punched away by David Igorov. And Gold is going to lift this one all the way down. Could be icing, and it is. And the faceoff will come all the way back into Team Gold's zone. So we have now had 91 official shots on goal in this game, just 7 of them finding the back of the net. As both goaltenders have been busy, both teams have taken every opportunity with a clean lane to the net to fire that puck toward goal. But Igorov's made 46 saves. Miller for Team Red, 38 saves. Point shot, there's off a stick, rebound, scores! The initial shot came from Doyle at the high slot. I think it was Poirier at the left side of the net who ends up hammering it home. And it was Justin Poirier out of Valleyfield, Quebec, jamming it home from the left side of the cage, and Team Red reclaims a 2-goal lead. Credit to Doyle for getting it started there on the opportunity from the middle of the blue line, and it just deflected right to the 4th overall QMJHL pick of Baie-Comeau. Justin Poirier hammers it home, and Team Red is up 5-3. So now just needing to hold on for a few more minutes. Team Red getting possession right back here with Christopher Brown bouncing this one in deep. There a preemptive hit thrown by William Shields. Nothing untoward about that, say the officials. And Gold can get possession back, going glass and all the way down. In fact, chased down by McCaggerty. His sharp angle try nearly found its way through, but Miller got enough of it. Now a long pass deflects into Team Gold territory. Lavoie spins it the other way, but not out. As Red looking for more here. An opportunity down low for Hodnett as he centers, but it was intercepted. One-handed the other way by Mckinnis, but not into Gold territory. As then it's shot in again by Maddox McCaggerty. McCaggerty, the 25th overall pick of Swift Current, for whom he played 3 games this past season. Now Hodnett carries in for Red. Put it middle, that's off a skate. Hodnett recollects here. Evades some pressure to the high slot. Dishes it off to the far side, and that long wrister from Doyle deflects wide. Red keeping pressure on down low here. As Christopher Brown was shouldered twice by a couple of Gold defenders. But still the battle ensues down low, and William Shields got tripped up but still got it in front to Brown. He couldn't get a shot through, though. And then McCaggerty can one-hand it out to the red line. Mckinnis takes it back and got it to Brown. Christopher Brown carrying his way in. Puts it off the corner boards. Merrick Howell then in turn leaves for Thomas Lavoie. He takes a stiff check, but got the best of the player who hit him, did Thomas Lavoie. And Red have to get back to it in their own zone here. Here's Jackson Vaughn. Flung ahead for Nathan Aspinall. He'll put it in middle, and it was Josephson waiting for it, but he had his stick lifted at the last second. Couldn't get anything through. Then scooped up by Josephson once more, but he's got 2 gold sweaters on him there. Recollects, though, to Ollie Josephson. Knifes it out to Mckinnis at the point. That long wrister, good save. Rebound, Aspinall. Point blank denied by Igorov. Made 2 good saves on that play. Back to the point for Gill. Put it down the dasher. The feed middle intercepted and jammed to neutral ice. Mckinnis had predicted that, though, and got back to the neutral zone to recollect and give it to Vaughn for the carry. Now Carbonneau. For Gold, bouncing it out, not quite out, as Mckinnis was finally forced to the neutral zone, then couldn't carry back in as his teammates were still retreating offside. But it's Keith Mckinnis getting back to it in his own zone and dishing it off to the far side now. And an O-zone tripping penalty coming up here against Gold. Going to send Red back to the power play as Celebrini carries in. Had it poke check free, taken by Gold, and special teams opportunity coming up for Team Red. As just a bit too aggressive that time, and understandably so with a 2-goal deficit, was Team Gold's Justin Carbonneau as he heads to the box for the trip, and Team Red gets its 4th power play of the game. They got 5 goals in this one, all even strength. Team Gold's 3 goals have all come on the man advantage. Red's 4th power play of this game here. Celebrini centering the power play unit. To Hodnett and now to the point for Perek. He's got a goal in this period. Back to Celebrini. Tied up at the circle here, but in to help is Hodnett once again. Put it to the point for Perek. Behind the back pass, nicely to Celebrini. He'll drive down the left side, then center it. That went off a skate. Came back to Celebrini, though, to the high slot. Hodnett shoots it, and a good save. Igorov again. Puck was lying there, but he got his trapper on top of it, or rather the blocker on top of it, and got himself an important whistle there. But not much time gone in this Team Red power play. As Gavin Hodnett, you see there, head back to the bench. The Edmonton Oil Kings prospect with some good play on that first power play shift. But now they change it up, and it'll be Ollie Josephson's line, the 15-year-old. Lanthier put it to the far side, got it back. Julien Lanthier to Shields at the circle. That high wrister just misses on the short side, and once again, those short side, or those sharp angle shots, when they miss, they come all the way back into your own end. And Red will have to recollect back here with still over half this power play to go. The carry in by Justin Poirier, who had the most recent Red goal. Dishes to the blue line for Lanthier, then to Shields. William Shields sweeps it around back of the net. Going to roll to Poirier at the far wall. Dishes out to Lanthier at the point. Winds and blasts one just wide on the short side again. Gold chip it to their own slot there as it's banked to the blue line. Lanthier did a good job to kneel and keep it in. Trying to toe drag his way into the slot, but couldn't get by a Gold defender. Shields, though, keeps it at the left side. To Lanthier in the high slot. Fed to the far side now, and that wrister goes off a stick and off the end glass. Red still keeping pressure on this power play, about 30 seconds to go in it. Poirier getting to it at the blue, but a diving poke check on that one by Lyndon Lakovic knocks it all the way down to the red blue line. Shields now speeds his way in, catches them on a change. He shoots it right into David Igorov, who makes the butterfly save and holds on. And then we'll get a brief meeting of the minds at the side of Team Gold's net, but the linesmen jump in there quickly. And in the dying seconds of this power play, Team Red will get one more offensive zone draw. Face off won by Red. It's Seneca there. Dishes that one across to Spencer Gill. Puts it down the dasher. It just missed Cormier. But Celebrini keeps that clearance in. Puts it across to Gill. Cutting in closer and shooting. And again, a good save from Igorov, who didn't have to move much. Just takes that puck right in the breadbasket. Holds on for another whistle. That's going to move it up to 51 saves for him in this one. Despite the 5 goals allowed, he's still got a save percentage up over 900. Really just magnificent goaltending at both ends of the ice in this one. Gold back to even strength now after that puck drops. Red now collecting back in their own end. Mckinnis shooting this one all the way down. No icing on that one. Beaten out by Celebrini. Centering feed, doesn't get through that time. And Lavoie puts it out to neutral. Here comes Team Gold. But now Seneca at the red line. Spins that one ahead. Gold with the quick clear here. O'Reilly couldn't corral it though. Mckinnis chips it back into Gold's territory. Gold again now, just missing Lakovic at the neutral zone. Red firing it the other way. It's one-handed ahead by Cormier. Played for the Navan Grads in Ottawa's U18 ranks last year. 72 points in 30 games. 38 of them were goals for Cormier. First in that division. Now it's Merrick Howell waiting and shooting, but it's gloved and held by Landon Miller. With another look at Howell there. Game-winning goal 2 games ago for Team Gold. Talked about him quite a bit. The Moose Jaw Warriors keeping a close eye on his performance at this camp. And we're going to have a timeout here. Team Gold going to take it with a 2-goal deficit and just under 3 minutes to go in the third period. Getting close to, but perhaps not quite at, empty net territory for this Gold squad that's won their last 2 games consecutively. Go over some late game strategy here as we've seen players across the facility taking a look at the final minutes of this third period, as we do have one more game to go in U17 camp. It'll be Team Black against Team Green coming up at 7 p.m. Mountain Time in just under 90 minutes from now. You can see that one as well on hockeycanada.ca. We thank you very much for tuning in all week. It's been a pleasure to bring you this highly competitive camp hockey as these roughly 100 players vie for a spot on the 3 Canadian teams that will compete at the World Under-17 Hockey Challenge coming to Langley and Delta, BC in November this year. As that event returns after a 3-year hiatus. So Gold now with an empty net and extra attacker. They need 2 goals. Merrick Howell shoots, and that's off a body and up and out of play over the end glass. Looked like it went off a Team Red player, though, so the face-off will stay in red territory. See Jordan Gavin there, who had the most recent Team Gold goal. He's had a lot of good chances in this one as well. Played 9 games for the Tri-City Americans in the WHL last year. Notched 2 points in those 9 games. We've actually had 105 points in 28 games at the U17 level. Also played 2 games at the U18 level of the CSSHL and scored 5 points in just those 2 games. So he's put up points at every level over the course of the last season, and Tri-City obviously very excited to see what he's doing at this camp. But now this one going to roll to red with a chance on the empty net, and that will do it. The comeback kids there with Jackson Vaughn putting it to bed with the empty netter with just over 2 minutes left. And despite that early deficit, Team Red's going to cap off camp with a big win. They'll finish at 2-1-1. And for Team Gold, a valiant effort in this one, including making it really interesting here in this third period. You can't fault them for trying. Usually when you put 44 shots on the opposing goaltender, you've got a good chance of winning a game. But Team Red just a bit better in this one. We'll play these final couple minutes for players to show what they've got with what's left in the tank after what's been a very busy week. July hockey, always a lot of fun, but always a little unpredictable too. As both these teams started with a couple days of practice before going into game mode here. They've all ended the camp with 4 games played. From there, they'll head back to their various junior teams where Hockey Canada staff will be keeping a close eye on them in the lead up to November when those rosters are selected for the World U17. It's the first step in Hockey Canada's program of excellence. Of course, next week, once again here on hockeycanada.ca, you've got Canada's top U18 players as well as some of the top U20s coming together for another camp where games will be broadcast on hockeycanada.ca. The crew from HN Live will be back for that one as well. But it is, of course, the U17s, the first step, then the U18s and the Helenka Gretzky Cup and the IIHF U18s. All leading up, of course, to the World Juniors back in Alberta coming up in August, and then again at the end of the year down in the Maritimes. Will be the 2023 edition of the tournament. Here's Team Red settling this one down. Shot in deep again by William Shields. As goaltender Igorov leaves it in behind his own net. Boy, after the 2 games we've seen so far, you can tell it's going to be tough for Team Canada's coaching staff to pick which goaltenders are going to wear the maple leaf, because they've all had some highlight reel opportunities in this one. There's a point-blank try from Christopher Brown. Doesn't find pay dirt that time. But as we enter the final minute, it is, of course, his team holding on to the 3-goal lead. Through center came Sam O'Reilly, but he put that one through the slot. No one there for it. Now Hodnett carrying his way in. Has 1 goal in this game. Drives down to the corner, but turned over, then taken right back, and a between-the-legs shot there off of Seneca. Save made by Igorov. Then he sprawls out to the near side to cut off another Team Red opportunity and keep that one out for a whistle that stops play. And that will be officially his 56th save of this game. So again, as Team Red has put 62 shots on Team Gold's goal, he's only allowed 5 of the 6 goals. So statistically, actually a pretty darn good performance. And of course, for anyone who's watched even 5 minutes of this game and seen a couple of the saves he's made in this one, you can tell he's put together a marvelous performance despite the fact his team's on the losing end of it. Celebrini missed on the short side there. Keep in though by Tristan Doyle. Put it down the dasher. And there it's chopped free once again by Gold. As we enter the final 10 seconds of this one, Celebrini one more chance as he put it to the side of the cage, but it was out of Cormier's reach. Gold to recollect here in the final seconds, and that will just about do it. Team Red comes back from a 2-0 deficit. They down Team Gold by a 6-3 final score, outshooting them 62-44. And that will bring our second to last game to a conclusion in terms of the regulation play. The teams will stay out here for a quick international-style 5-round shootout. Of course, if you're wondering why do that after 4 games at this camp, well, when you look at events like the World U17 Challenge and really any tournament-style play, shootouts can become awfully important, and it's really important to know who's got capabilities as well as how the goaltenders hold up in those kinds of scenarios. So they'll play the shootouts just for pride here. We'll see who comes out first. But after what's been a magnificent goaltending duel between Landon Miller and David Igorov, we'll have the final chapter in it here. Team Red to take the first one. It'll be the defenseman Keith Mckinnis carrying his way in. Mckinnis with a low snapper that finds its way in. And he sheathes the stick and heads off to the bench after a successful round 1. Gold's turn now to even this one up. And it'll be Lucas Carmiris carrying his way in. Try to go 5-hole, but getting the stick down was Landon Miller. And Red's got the advantage after the first round. Ollie Josephson had the first goal for Red in this one. Tried to sneak that one in, but the right pad kicked out by Igorov. No sale that time. Bottom of the second inning now here for Team Gold. And it'll be Michael Misa. The 07 born star carrying his way in, stops up and denied point blank by the outstretched skate of Landon Miller. Still 1-0 Red in the shootout after 2 full rounds. See if they can put Gold on their heels here. Spencer Gill will try to do it. Won a TELUS Cup with the Moncton Flyers this year. And caps off his camp with a denial by goaltender David Igorov. Round 3 of 5 here. Justin Carbonneau carrying his way in for Gold. Straight down the middle. Carbonneau had it poke checked free, and an alert job there by Landon Miller. Still 1-0 for Team Red, completing 3 full rounds. Nathan Aspinall here. The Markham native fires it home. Now Team Gold must score on their next 2 in order to force a 6th frame. If they miss here, they'll still play out the 5th round for the sake of seeing all the players' capabilities. As this time it's Jordan Gavin carrying his way in, tried to poke check it home, but again, Miller staying with him the whole way. And it's going to be a shootout win for Team Red, but they'll finish it off with the 5th round here nonetheless. So Team Red now to try to put the exclamation point on it. And stopping up there was Poirier. He's denied by a sprawling save from David Igorov. Last one for Team Gold. Will it be a perfect 5 for 5 for Landon Miller in the shootout? We'll find out as Colton Roberts carries his way in. Snaps one, save made, perfect shootout for Landon Miller. And Team Red takes this one 6-3, and they win the shootout as well, 2-0. We thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back in just under an hour and a half with Team Black and Team Green to cap off Hockey Canada's U17 National Team Development Camp. For Corey Bro, Chris Colwell, our whole HN Live crew, this is Tyler King saying good evening from Calgary, and thank you so much for tuning in.